Morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean. Bugsy Malone is AWOL. We can't find her. She's out, I believe, with someone else in the house. And there must have been an oversight in communication around who's doing walkies this morning. So as it currently stands, I am doing episode 215 by myself, solo. And I hope you don't mind that. She did say hi to everybody. Please do me a favour, guys, smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe if you haven't already, join the now 7,700 people that have gone before you. The growth in the last couple of weeks has been absolutely bonkers, and I'm so very appreciative and grateful. It's madness, but we'll keep going. Whilst you're at it, smash the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. It's Sunday, so let's talk about what happened on Saturday, and then we'll get into a couple of transfer rumours, news, views and clues, as we usually do. So let's start off with Manchester City. They won the FA Cup. Congratulations to them. That's a domestic double. On Wednesday, they look forward to their Champions League final against Inter. Heavy favourites to become the Treble winners, which is obviously an incredible demonstration of their dominance across football right now. And yeah, it's a sign of the times. I think the gap between them and everybody else is pretty significant. Anyway, they're not the only people that may have a treble. Celtic do have a treble. They secured theirs yesterday. Congratulations to everyone involved with Celtic, the club, the fans, the players, and of course Ange Postecoglou, who may or may not become Tottenham's new manager. What I would say is, in the pitch side post-match interviews, there was a few takeaways that I wanted to share with you, and I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, but I do feel like I should, just give you my observations, and I'd love to let you give me them back. Let me know if I'm overthinking it, or if it's something that maybe you saw, or if you didn't see it, maybe you just have your thoughts on anyway. Post-match pitch side interview, first and foremost, he was asked about the Tottenham rumours, and he, as you would expect, did a straight bat. He basically told the interviewer, I'm paraphrasing, but can you shut up and let us enjoy the moment? Forget about all that other stuff. Put that to one side. He did also mention that he's going away on holiday on Tuesday. So if there's any truth to the story that he is the favourite, then I would imagine that if we don't hear anything about it today or tomorrow, then we probably won't hear anything about a confirmation until he gets back from his holiday, however long that will be. He's going away with his family. Sometimes players can be on holiday, but their agents can take care of all of the kind of negotiations and the contracts and stuff. But I would imagine that's not quite as simplistic and a formality when it comes to managers. There needs to be more of an in-depth interview process. There needs to be more back and forth around, what sort of roles and responsibilities people are going to take. So I'd imagine he would need absolutely to be there, unless it's already taken place and we don't know about it. So look out for some news in the next 36 hours, and if not, probably, I would imagine, we'll be having to sit on our thumbs for a while. Where I do want to kind of ask you guys if you know Postecoglou. I know a lot of Celtic fans are suddenly watching the channel because of the story, so maybe if they can help us out here. I was watching the interview, and I think there was Martin O'Neill there, obviously there was Postecoglou, there was a female journalist who I wasn't familiar with, and I think there was either one or two other guys. Again, I wasn't familiar with who they were. Maybe they're bigger names, more familiar names in Scottish football. But when Postecoglou was asked any questions from any of them, the observation I took away was that he refused to look them in the eye. He kept his eyes firmly on the floor and would at best give a cursory glance up to the person asking the question at like 45 seconds through the answer. It came across weird to me because, we spoke yesterday about how this guy is, not only does he play attacking football, but he's a man manager, he's a motivator, and hopefully, from my perspective, I want to see him be able to get more juice from the squeeze by, invoking an air of confidence throughout the team where they believe in themselves. But one of the surefire tells of someone who is lacking confidence is the lack of willingness to look people in the eye. If you ask a body language expert, people who avoid eye contact, they're either uncomfortable, they're trying to hide something, they're telling a lie, or they lack confidence. And I'm not suggesting that that's the case with Ange Postecoglou. And like I say, it might be nothing, it might be meaningless. Maybe it was because the questions were about him leaving Scotland, and he knows that the predominant audience that are watching are going to be Celtic fans. So the whole thing was a bit weird. Or maybe it's just his style. Maybe he's a humble, shy kind of person in that arena. I don't know. So I'm more asking rather than asserting a statement here. But it didn't look great to me, if I'm honest. It's not a big enough deal for me to change my mind on him. It was just something that was a strange thing to see when everything I've heard about this guy would make you kind of think that he would be someone who puts his chest out and is very confident and convivial and kind of on the front foot with his speech, but it just didn't come across that way. Like I say, could be nothing, could be something. If any of you are more familiar, let me know and drop a comment. Anyway, moving aside from that, transfer news out today. There is only a couple of things really that I wanted to talk about. Jonathan Tah, the Leverkusen centre-back, has been linked with Tottenham again. Kind of the story is that in the press was that Tottenham are going to get revenge on Xabi Alonso for turning us down by taking their star centre-back. Look, from my impression, Jonathan Tah he's a very no-nonsense centre-back. I forget how old he is now. He must be 27 or something. He's been around for a while. He's a big, strapping, tall guy, 6'3", 6'4", very strong in the challenge, very dominant in the air. Generally speaking, he's a no-nonsense kind of centre-back. He's not someone that's going to be, being too creative. Someone who's got high pass percentage completions, mainly because he kind of just wins the ball and then gets it done. Nothing wrong with that sort of centre-back at all, by the way. I think Tottenham could do with a no-nonsense centre-back, but I don't know whether or not. I mean, a couple of years ago, I remember people comparing him to like Upamecano. I wouldn't go that far. He's a good centre-back, but I don't personally think he is. I think he's on the way down, basically, and I think you can tell that by looking at his transfer value. At its peak, it was valued at about £45 million back in 2018-19. Now it's valued at about kind of 18 to 20 million. And again, I've got no problem with Tottenham being, forward-thinking and creative and innovative with the way that we go about our transfers this summer. I don't think you necessarily have to spend huge money in order to bring in good players. And every time Tottenham have spent big money, we've ended up getting, nonsense coming through the club. So there's no particular link to me of Tottenham spending huge money and seeing a huge improvement in our team. At least historically, that hasn't been the case. Do I like Tah? Look, he's okay. He's a good player. He's a strong player, and certainly he would, can play in the back three. He's right-footed, but can play on the left, can play on the right of the back four as well. So he's versatile. But like I say, he's not going to be that kind of all-round defender that's strong in the air, that's competent, that's aggressive, that is positionally astute, and that also can pop passes 40, 50 yards. It's just not that sort of guy, in my opinion. Let me know yours, and let me know whether or not he is someone that you would like to see come into the club. The other link, of course, today is Kyogo from Celtic, the Japanese striker, 5'7" tall. I think he weighs about 6 stone soaking wet. Kind of Brian Hill like size and shape, but an incredibly effective goal-scoring machine for Celtic. I think in all competitions this season has got about 36 goals and maybe 10 assists, something like that, across the 3 competitions that they were in, and of course the Champions League. I don't think he scored in the Champions League. Look, an entirely different player to Harry Kane. There are news articles out there today that now that Benzema has confirmed that he's leaving Real Madrid, Real Madrid apparently have like distanced themselves from thinking about Firmino, and the story is that Harry Kane is their number one target. If Harry Kane was to leave, then obviously Tottenham would need to get another striker in, or certainly revamp the forward line. And I personally don't think that the Celtic 5'7" are like-for-like replacement. Obviously, they're 2 entirely different players. He can play anywhere in the top 3. I would see him more as an inside forward. If you look at him on the Y-Scout tool, you'll see that he's actually incredibly clever with the way that he passes. His weight of pass is very impressive. if he's delivering through balls for the people that are overlapping him. He can cross the ball from the right, he can cross the ball from the left. I've seen him do some really majestic little finishes where he lobs the goalkeeper with a little kind of half volley flicks. He's got a brilliantly typically Japanese style about him, very technical, very tricky, and almost like masters the art of all of the little nuances of the game that people who don't have the physical presence to be able to dominate in other areas have to do if they want to stand out. Now, it's obviously typical for Tottenham or any club who have a likely candidate, a managerial candidate coming in, to also be linked with the star player from the club where the manager may be coming from. And I don't know if that is essentially the extent of these rumours or all these links, whether or not there's anything more to it other than someone somewhere thinking, if Postecoglou's coming in, who would he likely take with him from Celtic? It makes sense as a story, but does it make sense in reality? Well, as I say, when you have players like Brian Hill already who have that kind of physical frame, who have that kind of technical, creative style, I'm not entirely convinced we need another one who's a lightweight kind of player. I don't know whether or not he would, manage to handle the physicalities of the Premier League. But look, he's done wonderfully well in Celtic, and his goal scoring record speaks for itself. Personally, look, very creative player, but at £30 million, which is what the suggested fee would be, that I think would be a Scottish transfer record that would break Kieran Tierney's, who was the previous record holder. I just don't know if Tottenham are going to spend £30 million on someone like him. That said, I would also make the argument that there is a lot of kind of history with Postecoglou and with the Japanese links. He will obviously have a lot of faith in the player, so if he does come in, maybe Postecoglou will see some relevance and some way that he'll be able to fit him into the system, whether or not Harry Kane is still at Tottenham next season or not. And I think that maybe Daniel Levy might see some value in it from a commercial point of view. Obviously, he knows exactly how commercially friendly players like Heung-min Son have been with regards getting that fan base from Korea. And I would imagine that he would probably look at a Japanese international and see something very similar. So it's an interesting one. As I say, personally, having looked at him, he's a very, very nice player on the eye to watch, very clever. If you're someone who appreciates the little things like the weights of pass and the kind of clever eye trickery and the way people kind of are thinking ahead in a particular game, then Kyogo is the guy. As I say, I don't see where he fits into the squad with what we currently have. I'm not entirely convinced he would do anywhere near as well in the Premier League as he has in Scotland, but I'm not that familiar with him. I've only really watched him with the Y Scout tool. Just thought I'd bring it to your attention. Nice player, expensive, but maybe it makes sense from a commercial point of view, as well as if Postecoglou does come in, does he want to bring his star striker with him? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, bye bye.